Once upon a time, nestled in a quiet sun-dappled meadow, lived a small rabbit named Pip. Now, Pip wasn't just any rabbit. He had the softest, fluffiest tail you've ever seen, and ears that could twitch to the rhythm of a butterfly's wings. But despite living in such a beautiful place, Pip was lonely. The other rabbits were always busy, nibbling on clover, digging burrows, or playing games he couldn't quite get the hang of. Pip, on the other hand, was a dreamer. He spent his days gazing at the clouds, imagining they were fluffy sheep, great sailing ships, or even dragons with cotton candy breath. He longed for an adventure, something more than just another day of munching on dandelions. One sunny afternoon, while chasing a particularly vibrant blue butterfly, Pip ventured further than he ever had before. He hopped past the familiar babbling brook and through a thicket of tangled brambles, his little nose twitching with curiosity. He found himself in a clearing he'd never seen. At its center stood an ancient gnarled oak tree, its branches twisted like an old man's fingers. What was strange wasn't the tree itself, but what was nestled between its roots. It was a shimmering, swirling pool of light, humming with a gentle, inviting energy. It pulsed with all the colors of a rainbow, casting a magical glow on the moss around it. Pip had never seen anything like it. His heart thumped in his chest, a mix of fear and an overwhelming sense of excitement. What could it be? Cautiously, he edged closer. The air around the shimmering light felt warm and smelled of things he'd only dreamed of: salty sea breezes, sweet tropical flowers, and the crisp scent of mountain snow. It was a scent of adventure. He poked a tentative paw towards the light. As his fur touched the surface, it rippled like water, and a jolt of pure joy shot through him. This was it. This was the something more he had been waiting for. Taking a deep breath and gathering all his courage, Pip squeezed his eyes shut, and with one brave little leap, jumped right into the heart of the swirling light. For a moment, everything was a whirlwind of color and sound. It felt like tumbling through a kaleidoscope. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. Pip blinked his eyes open and gasped. He was no longer in his quiet meadow. He was standing on a beach of sparkling pink sand. The water was a crystal-clear turquoise, and strange, colorful fish with wings flew out of the waves and soared through the air. Palm trees swayed in a gentle breeze, laden with what looked like glittering, jewel-like fruit. In the distance, a chorus of monkeys was singing a surprisingly catchy tune. This was incredible. It was a world beyond his wildest dreams. A mischievous-looking monkey with a tiny sailor hat swung down from a tree and offered Pip a sparkling piece of fruit. It tasted like sunshine and strawberries. Pip knew, with absolute certainty, that his life would never be the same again. His lonely days were over. His first adventure was just beginning. The singing monkeys told him about the legendary Whispering Waterfall, a place where the water sang the secrets of the forest. To get there, Pip had to cross the Giggling River, a river whose water was so ticklish that you couldn't help but laugh as you swam across. With the help of a friendly old tortoise who let Pip ride on his shell, they floated across the river, both of them giggling uncontrollably. The journey was filled with wonders. He met glowing fungi that lit up his path in dark caves and learned to swing on vines with the monkeys, feeling the wind rush through his fur. He wasn't just observing adventure anymore. He was living it, every single second. When he finally reached the Whispering Waterfall, it was even more magical than he'd imagined. The water cascaded down mossy rocks, and as it fell, it created a gentle, melodic hum that seemed to speak directly to his heart. The whispers told him stories of starlit skies and forgotten lands. Pip sat there for hours, listening, feeling a profound sense of connection to this new, vibrant world. He wasn't the lonely rabbit from the meadow anymore. He was Pip, the explorer. Over the next few weeks, the portal took Pip to countless other worlds. One leap landed him in a city made entirely of clouds, where he bounced on fluffy streets and rode on the backs of gentle sky whales. The inhabitants, wispy cloud people, were kind and taught him how to paint pictures in the sky, using trails of stardust. Another jump took him to a vast underground kingdom of crystals. Everything glowed with an inner light, and the gnome-like creatures who lived there showed him how to find glowing gems that hummed with music. He learned to navigate by the sound of the crystals, and even helped them find a lost vein of echo gems, which could repeat any song they heard. Each world was different, each adventure unique. He climbed candy cane mountains, sailed on a ship made of a giant leaf down a river of chocolate, and even had a tea party with a grumpy but soft-hearted griffin. Through his travels, Pip learned more than just how to be brave. He learned that being different was what made him special. His dreamer's heart, which had once made him feel isolated, was now his greatest strength. It allowed him to see the magic in everything and to connect with creatures of all shapes and sizes. He made friends in every world he visited, friends who appreciated his quiet curiosity and his boundless imagination. He learned to share his own stories of his quiet meadow and the sun-dappled light, and found that others were just as fascinated by his world as he was by theirs. One day, while resting in the Crystal Kingdom, Pip felt a pang in his heart. It wasn't sadness, but a gentle pull, a feeling of nostalgia. He missed his meadow. He missed the familiar scent of dandelions and the soft grass under his paws. He realized that adventure wasn't about escaping. It was about gathering stories to bring back home. He said his goodbyes to his new friends, promising to visit again, and leaped back through the shimmering portal. He landed softly between the roots of the old oak tree. The meadow was just as he had left it, peaceful and serene. But something had changed. Or rather, he had changed. As he hopped back towards his burrow, a group of young rabbits stopped their game and looked at him. "Pip, where have you been?" one of them asked, his eyes wide with curiosity. Pip smiled. He sat down and began to tell them about the pink sand beaches, the giggling river, and the city in the clouds. He spoke of the singing monkeys and the kind cloud people. As he spoke, a crowd gathered. All the rabbits, young and old, listened with rapt attention, their ears twitching with every word. They were captivated. Pip, the lonely dreamer, had become Pip, the storyteller, the adventurer. He had brought the magic of his travels back with him, and in sharing it, he found the connection he had always longed for, right there in his own home. He knew he would visit the portal again, for there were always more adventures to be had. But he also knew that the greatest magic of all was having a home to return to and friends to share his stories with. Thank you so much for joining Pip on his incredible journey today. If you loved this story and want to see more amazing adventures, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We have so many more tales to tell, and we'd love for you to be a part of them. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep exploring.